Hey guys, welcome back to the Secondhand Collective podcast, a podcast about Poshmark by Poshmark users. I am Evan.
And I am Stephanie.
And today we're gonna have an episode for you newbies out there.
Yeah, we are going back to the beginning for people that have just maybe downloaded the Poshmark app, are not sure of if selling on the Poshmark app is worth it. Maybe you've seen your friend selling on it, maybe made a little bit of money or whatever, and you're just like, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know how to start or whatever. Or maybe I think because we just had the holidays and I've had a lot of people asking about it, but also saying, I put some stuff up there and nothing's happening.
Right.
So even like just kind of, we want to share some tips on just 5 tips for anybody at the beginning of their Poshmark journey, whether it is reselling, but kind of focusing just on anyone selling, period. So kind of like your first 25 items,
right?
I would think.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start it off just by, for us, having a little bit of a flashback or throwback, whatever, and talking about how to list and that process quickly so that if you don't know that and you open up the app and you're like, this is just too much for me, we'll just walk you through it really quickly so you can get started.
Yeah. So you've downloaded the app. Now you open the app and you have to set up your closet. And so you're going to have to choose a username, and it can be whatever you want. Just something that makes you proud, or just your name.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's fine. And then you do your name, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
For setting up your closet?
Yeah. They will like suggest people for you to follow and brands that you like.
Oh,
and they auto-generate a post called Meet the Posher.
Mm-hmm.
And I, as someone that deleted their Meet the Posher, I think you should keep it.
You deleted yours?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
So it does auto-generate it. You can go in and edit it whenever you want.
Mm-hmm.
But people can click on that from your kind of profile area, your About Me. So keep that because I enjoy looking at people's Meet the Posher, and I'm always sad I don't have one. So yeah, you'll kind of just brands you like and whatever, and it'll take you to your feed. At the bottom there are 5 different little buttons: feed, shop, sell, news, and then your closet. And for this, you're going to start by clicking on sell with the little camera. And there are other ways that you can do this, depending on how involved you want to be and how many tips or how many tricks you want to know about Poshmark. But for now, we're just really going basic. When you click on the camera, you just take a picture. Make sure that it's in focus. Poshmark doesn't really allow you to edit photos. You do have filters that you can use, but anybody that sells seriously on Poshmark will tell you, do not use those filters. They're terrible.
They're horrible.
So make sure your picture looks nice.
Just like a picture.
Yeah. Get everything you need in there. Then click next, and you kind of get to the listing page. And that's when you can add more photos. You just click where it says add photo, and you can add up to 8 photos. So again, there are other ways you can do that, but this is just for getting started, the easiest way to do that.
Yeah. And then under details, you're going to have where it says, what are you selling? And that's just going to be your title. And then description, you can put whatever you want about your item. And then there's category, quantity, size, brand, color, and new with tags. Some are required and some are optional. So you just go through and you'll fill that out. And then that goes to the price. If you don't know the original price, that's totally fine. You can just put 0 or what you think it was. No one's going to be like checking to make sure.
Yeah.
And then you put whatever you want for your listing price. And then at the bottom, it says additional details. I would not worry about that
I've
unless
never
you
even
were.
used them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I haven't either. Unless you're actually doing it as like a business, don't worry about it. So once you have all that filled out, you would press next.
And it gives you the option. I believe we're like looking at it, but we
do it.
we weren't listing anything. We were just looking at it, but it gives you the option to push it through to social media.
Oh yeah.
And then you hit list.
Yeah.
And then your item is for sale. And you can click on your closet and you will then see your item.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that, just do that. Rinse, repeat.
So listing is really easy, really straightforward.
It can be as easy as you want to make it.
Yeah.
It can be as time consuming as you want to make it as well.
Right. Whatever you feel like.
But that's just kind of the really basic overview of listing an item on Poshmark.
Yeah.
Make sure you have your notifications on just so that if something happens, you get notified of it. It doesn't have to be like a push notification, but
you can get emails and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get emails for offers or whatever, but
yeah, just so you don't like miss a sale or anything like that.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of people see, oh, this closet has one listing. I wonder if they're active.
Yeah.
So it's just a good thing to have.
I do think that we should talk about real quick about like what sharing is, like what list.
That's what I was.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah, because I remember when I first started, people were sharing my items, and I'm like, oh my god, so many people are interested, and it's like, no, I'm sorry, no.
I think that kind of can maybe start with our tips, though.
Okay.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
Well, our first tip would be to share your closet.
Yes. Share your closet, your items.
So when you're looking at your closet, underneath the listing, there are 3 buttons. There is a heart, there is a shopping bag with a plus, and then there is kind of like a square arrow thing. The square arrow thing is the share button. When you press it, it will say, if there's a party that's happening, so kind of like a way to say, oh, here's a bunch of similar items, and it's relevant, you can share it there. If not, it just says my followers, and you're just going to click it, and then it'll say shared. So you just share it to your followers, to the Poshmark universe. It's this big algorithm that we are all still trying to figure out.
Yeah. I like to say it's kind of like if someone shares something on Facebook, you know, like it will go out into the universe.
Yeah.
You know, it makes your stuff like relevant still, and it's not like it's just sitting, not getting any exposure.
Yeah, totally. That's good. There you go.
Thanks.
So sharing, it's exactly what Evan said. And a lot of times if you click on your own listing, it'll tell you if you've been neglecting to share.
Yeah, it'll tell you how many days it's been since you shared.
Yeah, so listing is good in and of itself, but that's not the thing that's always going to bring you the most activity. So sharing is a huge part of it. I feel like a lot of times when people I know are like, well, I listed some stuff and nothing's happening, I'll look and it's like, it's been 67 days since you shared this item.
Yeah, even if you just share it like once every couple days.
Yeah.
Like, that's better than nothing.
Just start by trying to remind yourself to just share those items. Maybe every time you log in to see if anything's happening.
Yeah.
Just share it.
Mm-hmm.
I also think, too, that kind of maybe helps with the tip number 2 about sending offers. Mm-hmm. So when you share, if you go to your news feed when you log in, you probably will have things that say someone is following you, someone shared your listing, and if you are lucky, well, this is a step below someone. Okay. In terms of what you want to see in your newsfeed, first, you just want to see someone purchase something.
Yeah.
Second, you want to see someone made an offer.
Mm-hmm.
Third, you want to see that someone liked an item.
Yeah.
If somebody likes your item, you're able to send them an offer.
Right.
So you would just go to that listing. So what I tend to do is I go in my news and like I see somebody has liked this pair of earrings. I click on that. It takes me to the listing, and at the bottom, on the bottom left, it shows the price, and then it says offer/price drop. I can click that and hit offer to likers, which is a private discount that I offer to someone who's liked it. And I can type in my offer, which has to be 10% less than the listing price. And in order for someone to receive an offer, it has to be 10% less than the last offer they've ever been given. Mm-hmm. So these are $30. So I'll send a $27 offer, but you also have to include a shipping discount, which controversial. Most of us will probably always just do the $1.80. So then you click minus $1.80. That subtracts $1.80 from their shipping cost, and then it shows you if they accept it how much you would earn, and then you can hit submit, and then you just wait, and they might accept it and they might not. But that's another really great way to get sales coming in. And I think when people are used to buy, like I'm used to, as I'm perusing Poshmark, if I like an item, I just assume I'm going to get an offer.
Yeah, people won't think you're being like pushy or anything. It's just kind of what you do.
Yeah. So because of that, anyway, so that's number 2. Sorry, I was like, I mixed up our tips. That's tip number 2 is to send offers.
Send offers.
But because of that, you want to leave some wiggle room in your price when you're listing it. Mm-hmm. So I listed these at $30 because I'm not planning on selling them at $30 at all.
Yeah.
I don't want to list it for the amount I want to make. First of all, because Poshmark will take a fee. So if I say, I want to make $12, I can't list it at $12. If I want to make $12, I probably am not even going to list it at $15,
right? Or
$16 or $17 or $18.
Yeah, probably list it at $20.
Yeah, on the low end, because you want to just have the room to negotiate with people.
Yeah.
I think it's a turnoff to people when you say price is firm. So it's better just to say the price is negotiable and you have priced it higher.
Yep.
So I think that's one thing that when I look at the beginning of my Poshmark closet, everything was like $5 to $8.
Yeah.
But there was no offer to likers at the time either.
Oh, yeah. So,
yeah, that's been something that's come out in the past.
There wasn't even a bundle.
Because I remember saying, like, if you add these together,
you'd have to make like a whole separate listing. Oh, man.
Yeah.
How far we've come.
I know. So that's the third tip, is to just leave some wiggle room in your price when you're listing. The other one is tip number 4. Evan, you want to take that one? That's also listing related.
Yeah, with your pictures, taking pictures of tags. Like, sorry, the brand tag and the size and
I wasn't sure if you knew what that meant. I was like,
what? That way, like a lot of the questions that people may ask are there. And then, it's just also good to have.
Yeah, it's important to list when you have the option to list a brand, because people will search by the brand and there are certain things that people will tag for exposure, which is the dumbest thing in the world.
And it's not allowed.
It's not allowed technically, but it's so rampant that I don't know if they can even really control it.
I know.
But it would be like if I were to say, this pair of, this is a small thing, but this pair of $30 Zella leggings, I'm going to list them as Lululemon.
Yeah.
So somebody comes thinking, oh my gosh, $40 for Lululemon leggings, and they click on it, and then they have to somehow read that it's not Lululemon, it's Zella. So it just gives, first of all, always list the correct brand, but it also allows people, if you haven't written it for whatever reason, they can just quickly see it. They can identify, yes, this is the correct item that I'm looking at, or whatever. And then I actually sometimes have been, in a fog when I'm listing, and so I'll have a picture of an item where it like the size is a small, and then the like the description says it's like a large.
I did that and I sold it to the lady.
Oh no.
And she was like, "Oh, this is actually an extra small." It ended up fitting her,
Oh,
but I
weird.
felt so bad.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
And so it's a weird thing where to me I'm like, at least then I have the pictures that I never think it's the buyer's fault because I should have been aware of that. But then
Right.
you're like, well, I wasn't lying. I just made a mistake.
Yeah.
So the pictures of the tags and pictures of the content, the fabric content.
Any flaws?
Yes.
Flaws?
Yeah, that's not tags, but that's for sure.
I feel like we should also say that Poshmark generally does not allow returns, but if there is something that's not like disclosed, like there's a rip in the shirt or something, they can open a case against you, and Poshmark sometimes will approve it. So it's best to just like take pictures of any flaws or anything just so you cover your butt.
Yeah, and it's like we were talking about the quality, make sure they're in decent quality.
Mm-hmm.
I one time found a pair of pants at the Goodwill outlet that I thought were so cute and I wanted to sell them, and I got them home and they were like a size 22, like Maurice's polka dot jeans, and I was so excited to list them, and I realized that the crotch was like super worn out and there was like tears in the like threading of the pockets, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to put it up. Like at this point, it's sitting here. It's easier for me to just take a picture, list it, than to figure out what to do with it. And it's sold for $8, mind you. But I was at the time only listing things for $8 to $10.
Yeah.
So there is a market for some people that are willing to buy things that are damaged as long as the flaws are listed.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Evan said, just cover your butt. Make sure everything is disclosed in photos. And there are times when you just don't see things or don't notice things and mistakes happen, but just try to be really diligent in your photos.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the last
And then, so I've had like friends ask me like, you know, I don't have the money to ship these items or whatever. And I'm like, girl, you don't need the money to do that because you can do it for free. So Poshmark pays for, or the buyer pays for shipping, unless you give a shipping discount, then that comes out of your profit, but whatever. They'll send you a shipping label, you print it out, and then you can get free shipping supplies from the post office. Or
yes.
you can use just like a box you have.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
It's great for like Amazon boxes or anything that you've ordered online. If you just kind of have the space to set them aside, you can just reuse any of those boxes.
But if you don't have a box, don't worry about it. Don't go out and buy shipping boxes. Just go to the post office, and they usually just have them in like a little display type thing.
You're looking for the flat rates.
Flat rates. Or just anything that's not express.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, they changed it.
Okay.
Yeah. So it can be just the priority mail or flat rate or regional rate. You can do any of those.
Yeah.
Just not the blue express.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
I thought you couldn't do regional.
They changed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this should be said that it depends on where you go, but I know that I still come in contact with a lot of people at post offices that give me a hard time with shipping items.
Yeah, on the shipping label at the bottom it does.
They don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care. I know that I'm using the correct things. If it's flat rate, and I just get flat rate boxes or whatever, just because that's why I was like flat rate, because that's the only thing I look for. If it's a little too big, that's fine. That way I'm like, for sure I can use this. And one time a guy at the post office in town, I brought something in, and this is after years, hundreds of packages that I've dropped off. No problem. And this one guy just decided, you can't ship this. You cannot ship this priority mail because it's the wrong thing. And I was like, normally I'd just be like, I don't care, but for whatever reason, I was like, let me educate you.
Yeah.
And I even said, there's a letter that Poshmark has written, like it's the postmaster or whatever has written about it. And the guy said, it doesn't matter. If you send this, and this is what he ended up saying, if you send this, whoever you're sending this to is going to have to pay the difference. And that's when I was like, I'm willing to take that risk. And he just went off on that. And I was like, I send a lot of packages this way, and I take the risk every single time then. because I was told by Poshmark that it's fine.
Yeah.
And he just had a problem. So sometimes you run into that. I think it's a lot to assume that every single postal worker knows every single new change in the postal service, like policies or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I like to, if I can, drop them off, like just do the parcel drop and walk away.
Oh, yeah. I have a P.O. box at the UPS store,
Mm-hmm.
and you can drop them off.
Yeah,
there.
I was going to say, or finding another place that accepts
Yeah.
USPS packages and then
I'm
just drop them and leave.
They do not care there.
And so then after that, you'll get a tracking notification that says it's shipped.
Mm-hmm.
And usually it's there in like 2 days. The buyer has 3 days to accept the item. I always think it's interesting because I don't really remember ever being like, oh my gosh, this sent, it's been a day. Why haven't they accepted it? I just I do my part and then I just wait to either get the money or get a case.
Yeah.
But usually it's the money.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I can't really control if they accept it or not.
Yeah.
So they have 3 days to accept it. And if they don't accept it in 3 days, your money is just automatically released to you. So sometimes people will get it and be like, oh my gosh, it's perfect. I love it. Thank you so much. And release the money to you right away. And other times, I hate to admit that I'm this buyer sometimes. I get it and I'm like, it's in great condition. It's everything I wanted. And I don't think about leaving a rating and accepting it. But I usually try to go back and leave a rating at least. But so just kind of send it out, and no news is good news for 3 days after they've received it. And then you'll get your money that you can use on Poshmark, or you can deposit it into your bank account, or you can have them send you a check.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's
easy
it.
Peasy.
So just a quick recap. The 5 tips were to share your closet, to send out offers to your likers, leave wiggle room in your price when you are listing, also take pictures of all the tags and flaws, and make sure to use the free post office supplies. Postal service supplies, United States, whatever. You know what we're talking about.
USPS.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And our bonus tip.
Yes.
Start where you are.
Yeah. Like the world of selling on Poshmark is big.
Yeah.
It is a deep ocean of knowledge, of experience, whatever. And you can get analysis paralysis if you are trying to be the best Poshmark seller from day one.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always going to be time to just delete your items and take a better picture if you get a better photo set up or as you learn. But you can't. There's some experience that you just gain by doing things. It's just chronological. You've just been selling on Poshmark for 2 weeks, so now you know 2 weeks worth of Poshmark experience. And if you spend 2 weeks just learning it by watching people on Instagram, you don't really have 2 weeks worth of experience. So just start where you are, what you're doing. I mean, where you are with what you have and what you're doing.
And worst case scenario, it doesn't sell.
Yeah. And then you can, I don't know, send it to ThreadUp.
It's not like people are like going through and being like, oh my God, look at this person's picture. Unless it's like real crazy.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
those are.
And just, this was something we had talked about too, which was part of that little bonus tip of just starting where you're at is just, one of the things, what was it? What were we talking about with social media?
Oh, like you can share your items on social media or post that you're selling your clothing, because you could have acquaintances or friends that are interested in buying from you, branching out from just the Poshmark universe is also a good thing.
Yeah. I can think of quite a few people that there's like a girl that I went to high school with that I recognize her name that buys stuff from my closet occasionally. So I'm like, okay. Yeah, that's random, but you never know who's looking for the thing you have. So there you have it. If you are new to Poshmark, we just love to hear more of like, what do you need to know?
Yeah.
It's
hard to think back.
Yeah, it's hard for us to remember and to think what is relevant. That's why we were like pulling up, walking through, because it's become so much of muscle memory that I don't even remember how to tell someone how to list. So we just want to know, if you're new to Poshmark, what questions do you have that we didn't answer that we could maybe do in a maybe some sort of frequently asked questions for newbies episode. That would be fun. So let us know that. And if you are an experienced Poshmark seller, not even reseller, just the seller, what are some tips that we left out, or what are tips that you are like, yes, we'd love to hear from you. You can find us on all the social medias at the SHC podcast and on all the podcast platforms. I don't know why I had a hard time with that. Apple Podcast.
Pandora.
It's like, I'm not going to start saying that because I want to bring up Pandora again. Gosh darn it. Pandora, Spotify. I don't know where else. Those are like the major ones, right?
Yeah, I listen through Spotify.
I listen through Apple Podcasts.
Wow.
Well, wherever you listen, give us a 5-star or any star, but please 5 rating.
Keep those bad vibes to yourself,
Yeah.
please.
Do it for,
We're
do
trying.
it for my husband, Justin.
Little sweetie he is.
Yeah. And he'd like your reviews. So would we too. But yeah, we are really grateful to have this and have these people being you.
You guys.
All y'all.
Our friends.
Yeah. And we're trying real hard to work on getting these episodes out weekly. I think it was Evan that said a few months ago, Evan was like, I forget we have a podcast when it comes out every other week.
Oh, yeah.
So we're up in our game.
Yeah.
So we would totally love to know who's on board with us and who's like following along. So,
Yeah. Talk to us.
yeah. And we will talk to y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.